For this micro streamer, I'm going to use this TMC 9395. It's a nice heavy 3x long streamer hook with a straight eye. This is in size 8. And then this Veevus power thread in 140 denier. With these micro streamers, we're not too worried about our thread wraps, so we can use this thicker thread. Now we can get our hook secure in our Wolf Indiana Atlas vise. Now we can get this fly started off with some lead-free wire wraps. That is 20 wraps. And this is that size 8 hook. I just kind of finish out that tag around there as best I can. Now we can get our thread started here behind the hook eye. And then we can just, with some loose wraps, work our way to the back of the hook. Just make sure this lead wire gets all covered up. We'll end with our thread at the back of the hook. There's not a lot of materials that move in the water better than a Zonker strip. So here I'm using a black barred strip in Chartreuse. This color, Chartreuse, just always is super productive for me at my local lakes. Now we can tie in our Zonker strip. We want this Zonker to go over the whole length of the fly, so we want to give ourselves a little room to tie off this fly and then get back here to our tie-in point. To tie this fly, we want to make sure that we tie down this Zonker strip just at the hide. So if you I like to lick my fingers and get that Zonker, just get it a little bit damp. It helps keep all those fibers out of your way. And then you can get some good securing wraps here at the back of the hook. Fold all that back, get some wraps underneath. This Veevus body fuzz makes a great body for these kind of streamers. So we're just going to get some of this off of the spool and just get it tied in by the tip of this material. Bring our thread all the way up to just behind the hook eye. And now the rotary feature of this Wolf Indiana Atlas vise really helps with this material. So we're going to go ahead and trim off our Zonker. We don't want too long of a Zonker tail because we don't want it to foul our hook. So we just come back a little ways past, and we only want to trim the leather on the Zonker. We don't want to trim the fur. So we just get down here where we can trim just the leather and trim off that Zonker strip. Now with that Zonker out of the way, we can use the rotary feature of this vise and just do touching turns with this body fuzz. Just want to make sure that all these fibers don't get wrapped in too much. After a few wraps, we can trim that body fuzz out of there. And just kind of grab it all and kind of hold it back and get a couple thread wraps over it. That'll kind of help keep all of that there, and you can see that flash really makes a nice body. To get our Zonker strip tied down in the front, I like to kind of push all these flashy fibers down from our body fuzz, and then grab the tip of that Zonker strip and just pull it forward, kind of pull down that hair, because this time we do want to trap that bit of hair there. It's going to give us a nice full head on the Zonker. So once we get a few wraps, we can come in here and trim that hide off close. And make ourselves a nice thread head here. Try to hold all those fibers back so that we can get that. If you have any fibers that do get caught, it's not the end of the world. You can come in with some scissors and trim them up. So now we're just going to throw a whip finish on this. Doesn't have to be too crazy of a whip finish. I've never put a whole bunch of eyes on flies, but with this one, I really do like these hologram eyes in 3/16 inch in a Chartreuse color. Now that we got those 3D eyes picked out, we can just try to get them kind of stuck on the side here. They do have a sticky back, but it's not going to keep them on there forever. But it does work enough to where we can get our UV resin on there. So once you get them how you like them, you can just kind of squeeze them together right there and come in here with that UV resin right between them. Let that cure up, and then we can come here on top, do the same thing again. They're still a little delicate until you get the resin all the way around. Surrounding them all over the place. Have a few fibers to trim out of here. The last thing I like to do is go over everything with a very thin coat of Solar Bone Dry. This just makes sure that everything has a nice tack-free coating on it. Now you have yourself a nice micro zonker for catching lots of panfish, crappie, and bass. Thanks for watching.